Hey everyone, today we're going to pull back the curtain on something that's incredibly powerful but often totally invisible. We're talking about the world of technical SEO. Let's get right into it.
So, picture this. You have poured your heart and soul into creating fantastic articles, amazing videos, whatever it is. You are absolutely sure it's the best content out there. But when you look at your traffic, it's just crickets. It feels like you're shouting into an empty room. So what is going on? Well, it's a super common problem, and the answer is usually hidden deep inside your website's code.
And this right here is where we find our answer. Think about it this way. Your incredible content, that's the what you're offering the world. But technical SEO, that's the entire delivery system. It's the roads, the street signs, the plumbing. It's everything that allows search engines like Google to even find your stuff, understand it, and then, finally, show it to people.
Okay, so to make this really clear, we're basically going to build a digital house together from the ground up. We'll start with that invisible foundation, make sure search engines can find the front door, design a great experience inside, add some trust and security, and then learn how to inspect our own work to make sure our house is built to last.
So let's really lean into this metaphor. Imagine your website is a house. All your content, the articles, the products, the videos, that's all the cool stuff inside. It's the furniture, the art, the things that make the house feel like a home. But you know what? None of that matters one bit if the house is sitting on a cracked, crumbling foundation. The absolute first part of our foundation is just making sure search engines can get in the door. This boils down to two really important ideas: crawlability, which is just about letting the search engine bots access your content, and indexability, which is letting them store it in their giant library. I mean, if a bot can't get in and look around, nothing else we do is going to matter.
And here are the absolute must-haves for that solid foundation. You need a clean robots.txt file. Think of this as a set of rules telling search bots where they can and can't go. You need an XML sitemap, which is literally a map of your entire site for them. You need good internal links, which are like hallways connecting all the rooms. And finally, you need the right tags to tell Google which pages are the originals and which ones they should maybe ignore.
Okay, so our foundation is solid. The bots can get in. Now it's time to put up the framing of the house. This is all about creating a structure that's just easy to navigate for your visitors and for those search engine bots. And that means we're talking about site architecture and, this is a big one, performance.
I mean, just look at the difference a URL can make. The one on the left, it's clean, it's descriptive, it tells you exactly what the page is about before you even get there. The other one, it's just a bunch of confusing noise. A logical structure is just fundamental to a good experience.
And then there's speed. Let's be real. In today's world, a slow website might as well be a broken website. Google totally agrees, and they have a very specific set of metrics they use to measure how your site performs. They're called the Core Web Vitals. First up, we've got Largest Contentful Paint, or LCP. This sounds complicated, but it's simple. How long does it take for the main thing on your page to show up? You know, the big image, the headline. The goal here is under 2.5 seconds. Any longer than that, and people start to get antsy and might just leave. Next is Interaction to Next Paint, or INP. This one's all about how responsive your site feels. When someone clicks a button or opens a menu, how fast does the page react? To feel snappy and instant, that reaction has to happen in under 200 milliseconds.
And finally, Cumulative Layout Shift, CLS. Okay, you know when you try to click on a link, and then suddenly an ad loads and pushes everything down and you tap the wrong thing? It's the worst. That's layout shift. Your CLS score needs to be as close to 0 as you can get it, so your page is stable and predictable for your users.
All right, our house is framed. It's running fast. Now it's time to install the locks on the doors and, put some labels on them so people know what's inside. This is all about building trust with security and adding clear meaning with something called structured data.
And the process is actually pretty straightforward. First, you have to have HTTPS. That little lock icon in the browser, it's not optional anymore. It's essential for security and trust. Next, you add something called schema markup. This is basically a special vocabulary you use in your code to label your content for search engines, telling them, hey, this is a recipe, or this is a product with a 5-star review. And when you do that right, you can qualify for rich results. You know, those awesome search listings with stars and images right there on the results page. So you wouldn't just build a house and then walk away forever, right? Of course not. You have to maintain it.
And the exact same thing is true for your website's technical health. You have to be constantly inspecting for cracks in that foundation to make sure everything is still working the way it's supposed to.
And believe me, things can go wrong in some pretty spectacular ways. One of the most common and frankly devastating mistakes is to accidentally block Google from even seeing your site. A single line of code in the wrong place can literally make your most important pages completely invisible to search.
But the good news is there's a fix. You just have to get into the habit of auditing. Regularly check your robots.txt file, review your pages for any rogue no-index tags, and most importantly, use the free tool Google Search Console. It will straight up tell you when it's having trouble accessing your site.
So here's a quick look at the dashboard of things you should be watching. Are your important pages actually in Google's index? How are your Core Web Vital scores looking? And since Google is mobile first now, does your site work perfectly on a phone? The tools listed here are free, and honestly, they're your best friends for keeping an eye on all this stuff.
All right, let's wrap this up by talking about the future. All of this work, it's not just about ranking better today. It's about building a digital asset that is durable, valuable, and ready for whatever comes next in the world of search.
And the future is basically already here. AI search engines need clean, well-marked up content to work properly. Voice assistants like Alexa and Siri, they pull answers directly from websites that use that structured data we talked about. Getting the technical details right today is exactly what prepares you for the search of tomorrow.
Look, if there's just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. Technical SEO is the absolute non-negotiable foundation. Without it, every other single thing you do, from creating great content to marketing it, is just not going to reach its full potential.
And that really just leaves us with this one final question. You've done the hard work of creating something amazing, and your content absolutely deserves to be seen. But the real question is your foundation strong enough to make sure it can stand the test of time?